What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to the Hollow Knight Silksong review. Right, before we get into the actual review itself, I want to give out a huge shout out to my boy Initial right here, who stuck for me in multiple streams and helped me on my journey. So my hat off to you, sir. Thank you very much for the love and support provided thus far. Right, so where to begin with this game? Jesus Christ, where to begin? We'll start off with the gameplay. Now, in the gameplay, I have divided some multiple sections, which I'm gonna go through each and every one of them. Right, so with the gameplay, first of all, there's the action. Oh man, the game is so action-packed. It's amazing how much action it is in the actual game itself. It's really intense all the time, and it gives you pretty much a run for your money all the time. Trust me when I say this, the game is really action-packed. Now there's a traversal in it, which the traversal in itself is top-notch. There are some sections in the game that some people might not agree, but I find them to be challenging, and sometimes some sections were pretty easy, whereas some other sections were like it basically made me want to tear my hairs out. The combat is really good. What can I say about the combat? The combat is really intense, such as the action in itself. It's really mind-blowing, to be honest. You got loads of tools at your disposal for combat, loads and loads of tools, and basically you're gonna have to check it out. Now, aside from combat, we have the NPCs, some of the most loving characters I've ever come across in a video game, honest to God. I know there's a lot of memes about them, some of them, but my top 3 NPCs, actually, let's classify them as top 3. At number 3, we got the Flea Master. Number 2, we got, Jesus Christ, what was her name? Chakra, if I remember right. At in the first place, obviously, there's no denying it, we got your homeboy, Sherma. I know Sherma sounds a lot like a girl's name, but lo and behold, he's a guy. At least, as far as I'm aware of. Anyway, moving on. Within the gameplay, we also have the crest. I think there's a number of 6, if I'm not mistaken, total crests, which are absolute bangers. Each and every crest has their own utility and perks and downsides, so make sure to unlock them all. And basically they also provide a lot of replayability value if you want to try out new builds and whatnot. Speaking of builds, there's loads you can try out, especially the crests, especially with all the tools available that you unlock when you progress through the game. So there's certainly a number of builds that you can try out within the game. Now, mind you, this game, if memory serves, and if I'm currently not mistaken, has boss fights, which is a total number, if I'm not mistaken, like I said, 47. Guys, the amount of curses and hexes I actually thrown at the game for these boss fights, they are fucking believable. But each and every boss comes with its own satisfaction, so to speak, at the very end when you beat it. No boss, for me personally, no actual boss ever felt the same when I actually defeated it. So there's a total number of 47 boss. And moving on from the bosses, also in the gameplay, we got, believe you me, if I'm not mistaken, I think 143 mobs, so a lot of enemy diversity. Again, to swear at the game. Right, now that being said, overall, I think these are all compiled into the gameplay, what I just listed. And as for the gameplay, I would give it a 9.8. Truly amazing. Honest to God, do not take my word for it. Go and check out the game. Moving on to the next thing, which is graphics. Well, what do you expect? It's a 2D platformer, so the graphics are not that impressive, but for me personally, the graphics, the ambience within each and every section of the game really felt unique, and for that alone, I'm gonna rate the graphics at a solid 9. Now, within reviews that I've made in the past and I will be making in the future, I've never ever included this category in games before, but I feel like this game absolutely deserves it. So the next category we're going to talk about is sound and music, boys and girls. This game has tremendously exceptional music, and the sound, I kid you not, it's almost palpable. But like I said, don't take my word for it. Check out the game and see for yourself. From my own experience that I had with the game and the music and the sound within the game, it was truly amazing. And for the game, I'll give it a solid 10. Snow, please behave yourself. My cat. Anyway, moving on. What else is there to rate? The story, I'm not gonna delve for too much inside of it. I'm gonna let you figure it out, because if I do tell you what the story is, obviously it's gonna be spoilers. And I do not want to spoil the game for you guys, but I'll tell you this. The story in itself, I'll rate it at a solid 9. I really enjoyed the story. It could have been improved here and there somewhat, but no, the story was really solid for me. So I'll rate it as a 9. Now, the difficulty of the game is the next thing we're going to talk about. Also, this is another section that I never talked about in games, but I feel like this game actually deserves it, and we really need to talk about it. The difficulty of the game. Oh God almighty, where do I start? First of all, there was that patch that Team Cherry devs actually implemented into the game, which made, for me personally, but probably no other living human being is like me, but for me personally, I felt like the patch they implemented inside the game should have not been there. It shouldn't be there. If you ask me, I would have taken it out, because they nerfed 2 or 3 bosses which have no place to be nerfed, if you ask me personally. Another thing about the difficulty, what can I tell you? There's a certain area that's dreaded in the Hollow Knight Silksong community by all the players, and I kid you not, all the players. To any of you that also finished the game, you know which area I'm talking about. And that is exact Wild Water. Man, the amount of time I spent there, the amount of time I actually spent there, and basically cursed that the game was out of this world. It was so goddamn hard at times. But with perseverance and relentlessness, I managed to pull through that area. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but just so you know, to each and every one of you that's gonna hit a new game on Hollow Knight Silksong, wait until you get to Wild Water. That's all I have to say to you guys. I kid you not, it was a total it actually haunted one of my dreams. Oh, Jesus Christ. But the difficulty of the game is really annoying, but that's the beauty of the game in itself. You're not supposed to win this easily, and if you had been winning easily at this game, it'll be like, this game is boring. Fuck this game. What is this? A walk in the park? What is this? Mario? No, that's the beauty of it. It's supposed to be difficult, because that makes it so much more satisfying when you get through that certain boss you've been stuck on for hours, or an area that you've been stuck on for hours and whatnot. That's the beauty of the game in itself. That's the beauty of the difficulty. In my opinion, games should be difficult, because once you get past that certain point that you've been struggling for hours and hours, you'll be like, oh my God, I finally done it. But to any of you who watch my streams, you know what I'm talking about. Oh God, So I don't know, man. The next thing we're gonna talk about is obviously the controversy that's gonna be going on with this game that Team Cherry developers pulled off. Oh Jesus, where do I begin? So initially, I'm not gonna take too much of your time on this topic, but it's all out there on YouTube and the internet if you wanna Google it or search for it on YouTube. Basically, the developers spiked up quite a controversy with this game when they launched it, mainly because some other developers of other video games were really upset because not only the time window between the announcement of the game in itself, of the trailer, and afterwards the release date of it was really short, but the other developers of different games also fumed when they learned it was basically $20. You heard that right. This game is a truly masterpiece of a game, and the developers charged us players only $20 for it, which is absolutely ridiculous. The amount of content that this game has by far surpasses at least $30, at least. But I hat off to the developers for putting such a low price on such a well done game, and overall, I don't know, the game in itself, it's basically a work of art, and I actually encourage you to at least try it. Oh, so that being said, the overall rating of this game, if I combine my other rating, is 9.6. From my perspective, that's more than a decent rating for you guys to go and try out the game, and hopefully you'll have at least half of the fun that I had with the game. As always, to any of you who watches my videos, gratitude is in order for watching, and always remember to have the honor of the samurai, the courage of the Spartan, and the relentlessness of the Vikings. I'll see you boys and girls on the next one. Have a good one.